A very warm welcome to the news on NTA International. I am Yusuf Nadabu Usman. The top stories for federal government orders reopening of unity schools across the nation. Court of Appeal Abuja overturns nullification of BUHARI jury selection by the governorship tribunal. President BUHARI wishes United States first family quick recovery from COVID-19 infection. We start from the presidential villa, where President BUHARI is urging member states of the United Nations to develop additional strategies towards protecting and improving the quality of life of women and girls as critical pathway to the realization of 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, as well as the Beijing Declaration and Platform of Action. This was in his virtual address to the high-level meeting on the 25th anniversary of the Fourth World Conference on Women on the emergence of 75th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York. Adam Musambo's report is being put together. Whenever it's ready, we're going to bring it to you. And so the Assembly is calling for an urgent action, strong political support, and targeted investments for women, that is, to actualize the goals set 25 years ago in Beijing towards preventing the gains achieved painstakingly over the decades from Beijing, rather from being at risk. This was at the high-level meeting on the sideline of the 75th anniversary of the organization. Adebola Brooks-Lynn Sunday reports.
The NGO Forum on Women open!
In 1995, women from all over the world converged on Beijing in China for the Fourth World Conference on Women. In a resolution, they agreed to promote a set of principles concerning the equality of men and women. 25 years down the lane, UN Women said sad stories and millions more are unfolding daily in the lives of girls around the world, which shows that there is still a long way to go, as 1 woman in 3 experiences the trauma of violence in her lifetime.
Even where progress is made, it may not reach the women and girls who need it most. More than 300,000 a year should not still be dying from pregnancy-related causes.
We look at Colombia, Nigeria, Pakistan, and United States, and we show the huge inequalities between different groups of women in these countries in different aspects of the SDG agenda.
Female genital mutilation, we estimate that at least 200 women and girls in 30 countries have undergone FGM.
World Conference on Women.
The high-level meeting dwelled extensively on accelerating the realization of gender equality and empowerment of all women and girls, especially as they are the worst affected by the dreaded coronavirus and other violence in the world.
When the needs of women who have been forcibly displaced are addressed, we are all safer. When women are engaged in peace processes, we are more likely to have lasting peace.
It is the only way we will implement the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and achieve lives of dignity and opportunity for all.
The forum wants all governments in the world to know that the rights of a woman or a girl child are not negotiable, and appealed for their defense, which it said are essential for full gender equality, women's respect and empowerment. Adebola Brooks-Lynn Sunday, NTA News.
And back home, talking about education, the federal government has ordered the reopening of unity schools nationwide with effect from the 12th day of October 2020. The decision was reached after a wide range of consultations with stakeholders in the education sector and the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports.
After consultation with the Presidential Committee on COVID-19, we have decided that all our 104 unity schools should open on the 12th of October 2020. States and private owners will work out the modalities for the opening of schools under their purview.
The Minister of Education, Adamu advised schools to ensure strict compliance with COVID-19 safety protocols and other medical advisories streamlined by Nigerian Center for Disease Control. He warned that any school found wanting in abusing the set-out rules for the reopening of schools across the country will be appropriately sanctioned.
We should establish a staff-student committee for regular surveillance, monitoring and enforcement of all COVID guidelines. Let me warn that any school owner who does not comply with these guidelines and an outbreak occurs in the school due to negligence, they risk closure of their schools.
The minister explains that the decision does not translate to zero case of coronavirus pandemic, hence the need to report symptoms of the virus to relevant authorities to prevent spread of the disease. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
Many thanks, Abubakar. Now, preparations to establish a National Library of Nigeria in Akwa Ibom State is in top gear. Chief Executive Officer, National Library of Nigeria, Professor Lanre Aino, announced this during a courtesy visit to the State Governor in Government House, Uyo. Charity James has details.
Library Decree of 1970 provides for the National Library of Nigeria to have branches in the 36 states of the Federation to ease its functions of setting standard for library and information services. Sequel to this preparation at ensuring that a national library is established in Akwa Ibom State is already in progress with a visit by delegation of National Library of Nigeria to the states. Chief Executive Officer, National Library of Nigeria, and leader of the delegation, while holding talks with the state government, commended the state government for providing a site for the establishment of a national library in the states.
Branches in all states of the Federation. Like I told you, we already have in 27 states. 9 states are yet to have, but when we go to 9 states, 5 states have responded, including Akwa Ibom State. And in our 2021 budget, we've already included Akwa Ibom State.
The Deputy Governor, who hosted the guests on behalf of the State Governor, appreciated the federal government for considering Akwa Ibom State for the establishment of the National Library, which he said was long due. He also urged them to make proper use of the land given by the state government for siting of the National Library of Standard.
Education is very important for us in our circle. I'm sure you know that. And for that reason, anything educational, anything that will help us continue to promote what we are trying to do for our young people, library happens to be one of them.
The National Library of Nigeria, among other things, has the responsibility of issuing International Standard Book Number and International Standard Serial Number. In Uyo, Charity James, NTA News.
And the federal government remains focused on its plans to accelerate infrastructural development as a fundamental necessity to increase revenue generation and make life meaningful to all citizens. Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, reiterated this on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria while discussing Nigeria at 60, motorizing. Oluseyi Adiagbo reports.
The curtain might have fallen on the celebration of Nigeria at 60, but Nigerians are still engaged in discussions on the country's development trajectory. Across different television programs and platforms, government officials have been engaged on the impact of government programs and policies, especially on infrastructural development in the country. On Good Morning Nigeria, Minister of Information and Culture, Lahi Mohammed, gave insight into the expected outcomes of the recently inaugurated Itakpe-Ajaokuta, Warri Railway and other ongoing infrastructural projects across the country.
Nothing opens up a country like transportation, especially rail transportation. You can imagine the amount of, the congestion that will go on, that will leave the axis. Not to talk about the economy you are going to create along that corridor. Or do you want to go to the area of power? Hopefully, by the end of 2021, at least 7,000 megawatts of power will be reaching, the homes.
The minister also used the platform to speak on the wisdom behind the recently approved Kano-Katsina Maradi rail line.
Because we do not have the road infrastructure that would encourage Niger, for instance, to use our seaports. We believe that if we have a train service, then we're able to take over the import and export business of Niger Republic. That is the simple reason why we did so.
It was the high point of the conversation in which Lai Mohammed equally acknowledged the contributions of the founding fathers, the present leadership, as well as the resilience of Nigerians. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiagbo, NTA News.
And more people are falling into the trap set by the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board JAM to rid the system of malpractices that had in the past threatened the credibility of exams and admission processes. The latest is a candidate apprehended for alleged impersonation. Olainka Ojo reports.
And I'm pleading to be pardoned, and I will support them in any way to further this investigation to get every other information they want.
Seeking for forgiveness may be too late for Etim Israel as he falls into the hands of the law for alleged impersonation. He registered for JAMB examination but connived with one Emmanuel to write it for him. He ran out of luck as his crime was detected.
But because of the directive of the Honorable Minister this year that no institution should take fresh picture or fresh biometric, rather JAMB should make the original picture of those who registered available to the institution and their fingers. That was the reason why he is caught up.
Out of the 1.9 candidates who sat for the 2020 UTME, 4,900 candidates have issues of picture mismatch, while 657 have complained of unmatching pictures.
And we asked them to apply. Now we are now asking them, come forward, tell me why you want to change your picture.
Israel was one of them, but he is turned out to be of his own making. JAMB again is using the latest arrest to caution candidates to desist from indulging in malpractices, as measures put in place will expose them. Already, Israel has been handed over to the police for further investigations and prosecution. Olainka Ojo, NTA News.
Many thanks, Olainka. President Muhammadu Buhari has congratulated Dr. Funmi Adewara, a UK-based Nigerian medical doctor, on winning World Bank Sustainable Development Goals Global 2020 Award. The president notes that by this award, she has hoisted Nigeria's flag proudly in the international arena. A statement signed by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, says the award came in the same season that the President, in his National Day broadcast, just applauded Nigerian professionals at home and abroad, whom he said ranked among the very best in the world. Dr. Adewara is one of the 7 winners of the award globally among 2,400 women, a feat that President Buhari describes as an attestation once again of the stuff Nigerian professionals are made of. President Muhammadu Buhari has joined all citizens of the United States of America in prayers for quick and full recovery of President Donald Trump and his wife, Melania, who reportedly tested positive to COVID-19. A message signed by the Senior Special Assistant to the President, Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, says the President notes with sympathy that the incident of COVID-19 in the White House manifests the challenge posed by the pandemic across the world and the difficulty in containing the spread. While wishing the American First Family speedy recovery, President Buhari urges more compliance among Nigerians to protocols and adherence to advice by medical doctors, particularly epidemiologists. And similarly, U.S. President Donald Trump tests positive for COVID-19 as several European countries see second wave of the virus, which could tell us more on the global update of the pandemic.
U.S. President Donald Trump and his wife Melania have tested positive for COVID-19. President Trump's announcement comes about a month to the presidential election which he will be contesting. Several European countries are reimposing lockdowns and other restrictions in their worst affected regions as figures show they are experiencing a second rise in the number of daily cases. Spain, which reported another 182 deaths and 9,419 infections on Thursday, is bringing in tighter restrictions on movement. In the UK, large parts of northern England are now subject to tough lockdown rules after recording 6,914 cases and 59 deaths. France recorded 70,458 new cases in the past week and is considering shutting hotels, cafes and restaurants